burgers and you be on a level. Listen, I'm never giving up. Stand your ground, don't be too comfortable or too settled. Listen, I'm never giving up. When you hit rock bottom, it's only one way to go. Listen, I'm never giving up. Everybody got problems, how you handle them, no. Yeah, listen.
Hey. I am John. Welcome to the Formula. Unfortunately, my partner in crime, Jonathan, aka Boot, is not with us today. He had to go be a great father to his kids, so he won't be with us today. But we do have super producer Nikki. Nikki, you want to say hello?
Hey. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good evening. Right. So, Nikki, what we going to talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about healthy relationships, and not just in dating or marriage, but in friendships and family relationships and all of that. Every person in their life has had an unhealthy relationship at some point, be with your sibling, it could be with your parent, it could be, with a friend, with a relationship. Everybody has had it happen. So you don't need to be an expert to talk about that.
No, you don't. You just need to live life and just talk about your experience and go from there.
So what kind of unhealthy relationships have you seen or been a part of? Like what jumps out to you right away?
Toxic masculinity. So guy friends who they want to be like machismo, and they kind of like pressure you into doing things that you probably shouldn't be doing, and things like that. So
it's refreshing to hear a guy acknowledge it, right? And
it's real.
I wasn't expecting
real.
for that to be what you said, honestly. I thought you were going to say something totally different. So the fact that was what you brought up, which is real.
It's real.
It's a real thing. It's a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you brought it up. I have definitely... I grew up... John and I have known each other for a long time. Pretty much since middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much since middle school. But we didn't start like getting close until high school.
Right.
And that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute.
Time, yeah. But I grew up... of course, I had my close girlfriends, but I probably had more guy friends than girlfriends. Like, I had, like, my core kind of few girlfriends. And then I had girls that I socialized with, like, here or there. But I've always had a lot of guy friends. Like, a big portion of who I've spent my time with growing up with was my guy friends.
But isn't it true that most girls or women only have about 2 or 3 really close friends?
I think
and then all the other women that you associate with, you're not really close with them, but you're like cool.
I think that is subjective because like our sisters are best friends, and they are a part of like a little girl gang.
They got a crew.
I want to call it a gang.
They got a crew, yeah.
And
they're
about
quite a few of them. 6 deep? About 6, 7 deep?
There's quite a few of them. There's like the core group,
right?
Which is like 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like the outer ring
who are attached to them,
who are still close to them.
Yeah,
that are still close and kind of a part of the group, but not as close as the core unit.
Right.
And there are a lot of girls that have like, kind of like a sorority group kind of thing. I don't have that, but I have like a few really close girlfriends, and then like an outer circle of girlfriends that I'm good friends with, but not as close as my core group. I think really the way that it breaks down is dependent on the people. And I think people kind of put a number on it just to kind of hone the fact into people's mind that everybody is not your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I could go back and tell myself advice for the future, it would be that motherfucker's not your friend. Like that would be the advice that I gave myself because I am very social. I'm really friendly, just naturally friendly, naturally bubbly. Like, I'm just, I'll be friendly to anybody in the bank, in the supermarket. I mean, you know that. You know.
I'm a witness to that. Yeah. The coffee shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 But look, then those two girls were really nice.
They were really cool.
That's what I'm
They were
saying.
really cool. And
And-
you had the one girl like crying, laughing.
Yes.
So-
I feel like people who don't ever open themselves up to other people, you are not living your life to its fullest. Like there are experiences that you're going to miss out on not being social at all. You don't have to be in everybody's face or be friendly with everybody, but if you don't, talk to people, you know what I'm saying, get to know people, experience the world, people other than yourself, other than the people who you hang out with all the time, like that no new friends stuff is childish and garbage to me.
Well, I know from experience because I'm an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I do feel like I might be missing out on quite a bit.
Don't you have fun when I
Because-
make you do stuff? Come on, man. You have way more fun when I make you do stuff.
Yeah. But you have to make me. And
But it's not that hard. You
it's
don't put up
it's
that
not
much of a
that
fight.
I don't put a yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like if you pass me a bottle of liquor, I'm gonna drink it. If you pass me a joint, I'm gonna smoke it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna fight you on that.
I mean, listen, you are very opinionated in your opinions, and when you make up your mind not to do something, you are an immovable force.
Right.
But if it seems like it might be a good time, and you're in the mood to be outside of the house, you do just about anything.
You could peer pressure me into pretty much anything.
Oh, check, writing it down.
And it doesn't take much. It's
Yeah.
just that initial step for me to, because what you did in a coffee shop, I would never do something like that.
So
you know what I mean?
John
like,
and I went to a coffee shop one day, just because I'm sure it sounds weird to just
right,
keep
they have no
referencing
idea
the
what we're
story.
talking about. Right.
John and I were doing something for the podcast, and we went to this coffee shop connected because I was like dying for iced coffee, and I just so happened to get in a conversation with one of the girls about the movie Aquaman.
Well, she had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt.
Yeah, she had on a Teenage Mutant Ninja
And
Turtle
that's
shirt.
how the conversation started.
And I complimented her shirt because it really was awesome.
And then we started talking about superheroes.
Yes, and then the conversation went into, who had seen Aquaman and who hadn't.
And you were throwing mad shade at Aquaman.
Listen, all I'm saying is a pretty face is not enough to save a whole movie. People should know that from seeing Halle Berry as Catwoman. They should learn.
That's true. That's true.
The movie was not all bad. I just felt like it could have been better. And so I was giving my observations in a comical way.
Yo.
And we ended up having a quite long conversation with the two girls that worked behind the counter. There was nobody else in the shop, so it wasn't like we were keeping them from anything.
Right. Nikki was flipping tables, throwing drinks around,
no
throwing
such
napkins on the
thing.
floor. Just
Told jokes while I sipped my latte with oat milk, which was gross, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah, you know what?
Well, who drinks oat milk? Like, what is that?
I mean, lactose intolerance is a real thing. And some people don't drink whole milk. I am a person who does not drink whole milk, but I tend to prefer, almond milk or soy milk, because I feel like oat milk has an aftertaste, and I definitely felt it, and it ruined my coffee.
Well, apparently you can make milk out of anything, so
Well,
I should not be surprised that there's oat milk.
you can make milk out of a lot of things.
But
But going back to what we were talking about, you know, in that short amount of time, I forged a relationship with those two girls. Now, I'm not saying that they're my best friends. We talked, but, we all enjoyed our time of talking to each other. If I see them in the coffee shop again, I will talk to them again. You never know. Like, I personally, because I'm social like that, I've come across a lot of experiences because of that. I've gotten free Broadway tickets. I've, gone to concerts. I've just met really dope people. I've had I met some guy with some of my friends, out at a bar when I used to live down here before, and we just went and started dancing, and I'm telling you, it was like you had to be there, but it was like it was like we had choreographed the whole number. It was awesome. You don't come across those kind of things if you don't interact with people,
But has that led you to any unhealthy relationships or friendships?
Yes. Well, you know what? Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You feel
I feel like I've
because me as an introvert, I haven't had a lot of those experiences because I haven't put myself out there to be burned or to be in that position.
I've been literally torched, by some relationships. If we're using the burn analogy, I've been set aflame, and burned to ashes, by certain relationships. But I refuse to being happy. I feel like is a choice, and
so that hasn't affected your mental state, your mental well-being.
I wouldn't say it affected my overall mental well-being, but of course, when you have feelings involved into a situation, even if it is just a friendship, if your feelings get hurt, you feel it, and of course now when it comes to any relationship in the future, I try not to hold on and make other people pay for others' mistakes, but you be smart and you watch them, so if I see a situation that reeks of a similar nasty situation that I've been in, automatically I'm like, oh, getting off this ride right here. Let me off. Thank you. Pull over here. Thanks. See you later. So yeah. I mean, listen, some great things have come out of it, and the great things are greater than the bad things.
It outweighs the.
Yeah, I mean, I choose to see it that way. Like, you could date, a bunch of awful people. I've dated some awful people, and I've dated some great people. I've dated some okay people that have done some awful things. I've dated some great people that have done some awful things, and I've dated some not so great people that have done some wonderful things. The world is not black and white. The shades of gray. All of those things have come. You argue with people sometimes. Sometimes it's my fault. Sometimes it's their fault. I try and continue to work on taking ownership of my mistakes and growing from them. And, intention is a part of it, right? Because it makes a difference if you intend to hurt somebody and if you don't. I do not live my life ever making any decisions or actions based off of doing something malicious to anybody. So I'm solid in that way. Anybody who knows me knows that. They know that my word is my bond. If I say I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it. If I'm going to give of myself, I'm not going to give halfway, else I'm just not going to do it. I'd rather say no than to be halfway. And that includes in a relationship. But relationships are a little bit different.
Relationships are a little bit different.
Yeah.
But there was never a point in time where you felt like you were like heading into like depression or anything like that.
When I was younger, I dated someone much older than me. 11 years older than me.
Whoa.
And a lot of my friends were much older than me. So I was just around an older crowd in general. But that relationship, I definitely took more. I took more in a bad way than I should have. You know, I didn't. I am an internalizer when it comes to certain things. So I don't just automatically like something happens and I'm automatically like, oh my God, you know, that's not really my way. I mean, we've had an argument before, you know, like in the past, not that it's happened before, but I'm not like a, you know, jump in people's face and like act all crazy kind of thing. I try to like have conversations with people. And when it comes to relationships, I'll take note. I'll be like, really? Oh, that's what we're doing? Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Like, I've been in a situation where I was dating somebody before and we were like getting ready to break up. I had gone out of town for a week for like a family thing. And I didn't want to break up with him over the phone because I felt like that was like disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like trying to figure out, I was still talking to him while I was gone, but I was trying to figure out like how I was going to like end this thing when I got back, right? So after I got back, I called him and he wasn't around. He was like a chef at this restaurant that was connected to a lounge I used to go to. And so a chef, cook, whatever you want to call it. So I went to go hang out at the lounge and he was there. I went with my homegirl and I had called him at home. He didn't answer, you know, whatever. I just left him a message, you know, told him to call me back. And I went out with my homegirl. So I go to the lounge and see, thing about niggas shit where they sleep. I go in and him and his best friend are on a double date with two girls. So he didn't see me yet. Neither one of them saw me yet. And I'm at the bar, you know, with my friend. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to say his name, but I'm like, there's so-and-so over there.
Right.
So she's like, oh, God, you know, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, honestly, I'm not pressed like that. I was trying to break up with him anyway. So, you know, good. I ain't got to be the bad guy. Whatever. So,
Right.
she's like, what you going to do? I was like, I'm going to go say hi. She was like, what? I was like, you want to go say hi? She was like, is that code for something? I'm like, no, I'm going to go and say hi. So I, you know, had my little drink and I went over. And by the time I got over there, like in the crowd, I had kind of like lost him in the crowd. But the best friend and the two girls, you know, were there. So I went over and I was like, you know, hey, you know, I saw you guys over here and I just want to come and say hello. You know, I hope you have a good night, you know, whatever. The best friend was panicking. He was looking sick. He didn't know what to do. And it's like, man, you're not even a good cover guy because you would have gave him all the way the way you over here looking like, you know. But he was looking real scared and nervous. And then I saw my now ex-boyfriend because to me this seals the deal, buddy.
Right.
You know, and now he's looking real crazy. Like he's walking back over to them and he sees me and he's like looking crazy. Like, all right, what do I do? You know, and I was like, hey, you know, I just saw you guys over here and I just wanted to come and say hey. You know, I didn't want to be rude, you know, and you see me, you know, let you know I see you and come and say hello. And
like,
you know,
I see you.
yeah, exactly.
I see you.
So, you know, in my mind, it's like, you don't have to creep around the club for the rest of the night. I see you. I'm not going to cause a scene.
Right.
Hello. Goodbye.
Right.
You know, have a good night.
Right.
So I go back over, you know, and now, you know, of course, as things happen, you know, somebody comes over, they try to talk to me, you know, they offer to buy me and my friends some drinks, you know, whatever. Now, Under other circumstances, I would have said no, but now I'm single, so I say yeah. So now that my now ex sees me talking to a guy, now he's getting all upset. And he comes over and he like grabs my arm and I'm like, excuse me, sir. Unhand me.
Yeah, what is he doing?
Like, first of all, you're on a whole date, bro.
Right.
So
How are you getting upset?
yeah, so you should go and take care of that before you get broken up with twice tonight. Like, go do what you're doing.
Right.
You know, I just wanted to acknowledge that I was here so that way you wouldn't freak out when you saw me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, go have a good time. Go do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go do whatever you was going to do before you realized that I was here. And he proceeded to, you know, kind of keep himself separate from the group and stalk me around the club and like glower at me for the rest of the night. And then, you know, at the end of the night now I'm not gonna lie, it was slightly petty of me. I mean, no, it was petty. It was petty.
What?
At
that
the
you
end
went
of the night,
that you went and said hello?
No, at the end of the no, I didn't feel like that was petty.
No,
I felt
that's
like
what I'm
that
saying.
was
That was it.
I felt like it was
I
cool.
probably would have done the same thing.
You know, I wasn't gonna creep around for the rest of the night, so it's no need for him to creep around. You know, like it didn't need to be a big scene. Like we done, you know, all right, you know, have a good life.
Mm-hmm.
What was petty of me was I knew that he was feeling the kind of way, and I wasn't interested in this other guy who was talking to me by this point. And I knew that he was coming down the stairs, and so the guy's like trying to close talk me, you know, with the hand on the wall, you know what I mean? Like, you know, leaning over me, all of that. Everybody know that pose, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I allowed him to talk to me, you know, close like that, which I wouldn't normally do. I allowed him to close talk me like that, knowing that he was coming down the stairs. You know what I mean? Like, that was a little petty of me, but I felt like I was entitled to it because you was on a date with a whole nother chick. You know, so he was very upset and he wanted to talk to me, and I told him, no, you know, you should go and talk to
Ain't nothing to talk about.
Yeah, you should go talk to your little friend. You know what I mean?
Ain't
like,
nothing to talk about.
You know, so he's like, just hold on 1 second. You know, I'm going to put her in the cab. And I'm like, hold on. Oh, you must be crazy. You know, but, you know, this situations like that are like, all right, you know, it's clearly this has come to a close. There's no need for it to be dramatic, like an extra. I'm not all about that, you know, poking the fingers in the guy's face and making a scene out in the streets. I don't want to be out here looking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, them kind of wild arguments, I feel like people should keep in the house, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I went about my business as I felt I should have. You know, he tried to get back together. He tried to apologize. He tried to explain I wasn't really here for all of that. You know, you go do your thing, man.
Deuces.
Peace be with you.
Yeah.
Wakanda forever. I don't know.
Yeah, deuces.
But I've been with other people, like the guy who I was with when I was younger, that I was with for a long time. I never actually outright caught him doing anything he shouldn't have been doing. But there was plenty of things that he did that wasn't right, even without catching him doing those things that I knew that he was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I already knew that he was no good. And, you know, I felt like in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, I love him, you know, and, you know, if I don't put any pressure on him and just kind of let him, like, you know, work it out in his mind, you know, then he'll, like, naturally come to realize that this is where he should be. And even though he did naturally come to realize that, I, by that time, realized that this was not the person that I should be with, you know, because a good relationship is about more than just loving somebody. Love does not stop people from doing you dirty.
It doesn't.
You know, it's about, you know, respect, you know, that's like on the top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
And if you respect someone and you care about somebody in all actuality, then there are certain things that you're not going to do to them.
And that's even with friendships, too.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, for me, so you have a lot of guy friends.
Yeah.
I have a lot of female friends.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think that toxic masculinity, that atmosphere was just not not healthy for me. I'm just not. I'm not built that way.
Right.
You know, so I think that's why, for me, I gravitated towards having female friends over guy friends. But I don't know. Have you had any like mean girl moments where like
Where I was the mean girl?
no, where someone was a mean girl to you?
100%. I've had it happen many, many times. There's
But
something
are
about,
these your friends or these?
well, obviously not at the end, you know. But there were some.
So you have
girls-
had female friends that
yes,
like that.
yes, girls who I thought were my friend who really weren't. There's something about my personality that just bothers certain chicks. It bothers them deep down inside. I don't know why. I feel it easily.
See, the thing about you is you're not the typical female, and I don't mean that in
I
the bad.
appreciate that.
I don't mean that in the bad way.
Well, I don't nobody want to be typical.
Yeah, well, I'm not. You're more like a dude.
Thanks.
What I mean,
I guess.
you know what I mean, because
I
we
mean,
spoke about this before.
Listen, but these people don't know what you mean. You just call me a dude. Like, I am not a dude.
You're not a
Anyway.
dude, but the way you approach certain things, it's more like a guy.
I'll say this.
So I think women probably have a hard time dealing with that.
There are
because
certain things that come with some female relationships and some male ones that I can't deal. I feel like nobody can read my mind, right? So if I want something or need something and I don't say it, then I can't be mad that I don't get it, right? That's like common sense to me. That's how I feel. So when it comes to relationships or dealing with somebody, and I often get teased about the way that I talk about things. But like, if you say something to me that I don't like, I'm gonna say, I don't like that you said that to me, and I don't want you to say that to me anymore. And people feel like it's funny because I'm talking like that. But how else are you supposed to know if I don't tell you? Am I supposed to go and like pout in a corner, or like am I supposed to just like keep looking at you away and like hope that like my brain waves like reach your brain? Like, a good relationship, a healthy relationship is about communication, and that's friendships, families, relationships. If you can't talk to the person, then you're gonna have an issue. So I speak up. If I don't like it, then I'm gonna say it. And if it's a person and everything about that person bothers you, then clearly you don't like their ass that much. So why would you stay? You shouldn't be there if you don't like them. If you want to change everything about them, everybody's going to get on each other's nerves sometimes. But if you want to change everything about the person, clearly you shouldn't be with them.
Yeah, I've definitely dealt with that.
Yeah. You mean that you want to change somebody, or somebody want to change you?
No, somebody want to change me, and I've also dealt with the lack of communication thing, which is really weird when a woman doesn't want to communicate, because usually that's a guy's issue. Is that we don't communicate that well, but I've had experience where
statistically.
We're going through a bunch of stereotypes here, but
yeah, women tend to even like by what the standards that society puts on people, have an easier time expressing themselves.
Yet and still,
when it comes to how they feel.
Yet and still, they want me to read their mind, kind of, sort of. Like, oh, John, you should know how I felt. It's like, I don't know anything unless you tell me. Oh, you should know I didn't, want to do this, or I didn't like this, or I don't know unless you tell me.
I mean, but sometimes, it's because people aren't paying attention. It's a difference between not paying attention to the other person. Like, all right, if you know that I've told you many times I'm allergic to seafood, and then you take me out on a date and we are at a seafood restaurant, now I'm gonna talk about you. I'm gonna talk about you right there. I'll be like, really? Okay, so
Yeah.
you're trying to kill me.
Right.
That's what you're telling me. But I personally tend to a lot of things like make a joke out of it, or I just want the other person to understand where I'm coming from. So sometimes when I'm upset about something, which I feel like is a problem for me sometimes, is that because I don't react right away, like it maybe makes the other person feel like it's okay, or it seems like I'm taking a long time, like I'm bringing something back up. But sometimes I need to process so that I don't, like, I try to be conscious of what comes out of my mouth, because once you say it, you can't take it back. You can't unsay it. And even if you apologize, nobody's going to forget. You're not going to forget, and they're not going to forget. If you
I'm the same way. I don't react right away.
right.
I take a minute. I process the situation, and then I ask myself, okay, was it me? Like, am I wrong? Was it my fault? Was it my mistake? Was it something that I could have done differently? Because a lot of the times, that's probably where it is you didn't realize, you effed up,
Yeah.
So
I do that often, and sometimes in situations that I don't need to do it in. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's important to check yourself. I've done that before, like where I've been having a conversation with somebody. Like one time I was talking to my mom about something, and I didn't like the way that she responded because I was mad and I wanted her to be on my side. And I felt like she was, I said something slick. Like, I mean, me and my mom, like, we talk to each other like just about every day, and I said something slick like, you keep sitting on the fence like that, you're going to get a splinter in your butt. You know what I'm saying? Like real, something like real slick, like slick mouth. And afterwards, after I got off the phone with her, I called her back and I said, listen, I just want to apologize for how I was talking to you when we were just talking. I was upset and you were listening to me vent. And, because I was mad, I just kind of like took it out on you in that moment. And she was like, what are you talking about? Whatever. And, like, I didn't take it any kind of way. And I said, but I meant it like that when I said it. And so I feel like I should apologize to you because you didn't deserve that. You were just, trying to be there for me, in that moment. And then I had the nerve, to get like slick mouth with you. Like, I'm sorry. I don't have a problem with doing that in any of my relationships, friendships. I don't have a problem with apologizing, if I realize that I'm wrong about something. Because everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. So what's wrong with saying sorry? Like, what's the big deal? It's not a big deal. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean it like that. Or, if you're going to apologize, like, apologize for real. Don't be like, well, I'm sorry you took it like that.
Yeah.
Like, come on, son. Don't. You can keep that, But, like, I'm sorry that I made you feel like that. I can say that. Even if I don't feel like I said something bad, I can feel, if I made you feel bad and that wasn't my intention, then I need to apologize. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel, I didn't mean to make you feel bad. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Like, I meant what I said, but I could have found a different way to say it, or maybe that wasn't the time for me to bring it up. Like, there's nothing wrong with apologizing if you're wrong, owning your mistakes. There's nothing wrong with that. I done did some things that I'm certainly not proud of in my lifetime, but guess what? I'm not the only person like that. And even if I was, so what? I did it.
Yeah, I mean, we all make mistakes. So recognize it, own up to it.
Yeah, I feel like that is definitely a move that more people can make. Like, make some self-reflection. Put yourself in the other person's place, and think about how you would feel, if you said or did that thing, that you felt was done to you. Or at least try to put yourself in a place, maybe if you're having a disagreement with the other person, and try to understand where they're coming from, because maybe, you could be taking it, deeper than it really needs to be, or I don't know. I mean, sometimes I find female relationships to be more complicated. Like,
Oh, I know.
I get nervous when girls start crying too. I get nervous when I start crying. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. What do I do with this? Oh my God, my face is leaking. So.
Yeah. Relationships with the women for me can be complicating.
I
So,
mean, relationships are complicated, period. Because guys can be
be difficult
to understand.
too. Yeah, guys
like,
can be very difficult.
Just like women can be.
Yeah.
It's no, one way or the other. Men can be emotional just like women can be emotional. It's just in a different way. I choose to. I'm dealing with a guy. Listen, I can't read your mind either, just like you can't read mine. So if you want me to know something, then you better tell me, or else I'm not gonna know. I'm gonna keep on playing, this video game, and go about my business. Like in certain things, I don't get emotional about, or I'm not overly emotional about it. It is what it is, and I go about my business. And that makes some guys the clinginess that guys complain about. So a lot of guys want that, because I've had many a guy complain because I'm not like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when I go to sleep, I like to sleep on my own side of the bed.
I mean, at the end of the day, we all, most of us love the attention, and most of us like the attention. So yeah, I mean, we to a certain extent, we do want that clinginess. We don't want it to be overwhelming or overbearing, but we do want.
See, but that's subjective, it being overwhelming or overbearing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not.
That could be different, and that could be where the line draws. It could be different from one guy to the next.
It makes guys that I date like super uncomfortable that I'm not all. I mean, listen. Why do
like
I have to?
I don't mind. I don't mind being with a woman like that. That's not all up under me. Like, I don't think I would have a problem with that.
That's because you like to not talk for 3 days. Like, we could not talk for 3 days. It's cool, whatever. I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah.
Like.
So I don't know, to round out this conversation, healthy relationships, unhealthy relationships.
Healthy relationships are 100% about good communication, and we all could work on being better communicators in general.
And as far as unhealthy relationships,
if you see something, say something.
If you see something, say something, and you gotta recognize it. You gotta recognize it, and the sooner you do, the better, because an unhealthy relationship could really lead you into a really dark place that you might not come back from.
As a rule of thumb, I try to tell my friends that talk to me about their relationship things, what would you say to me if I was in the same situation as you?
Right.
Take yourself.
What kind of advice would they give you
Yes.
if you were in the same situation?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that, to me, can help, gain some perspective, on what's going on. Like, if some of these situations were happening with your friends, how would you feel about it? It's different when you're in it, but how would you feel about it? Sometimes you got to take yourself out of it a little bit.
It's hard to remove yourself.
It is hard
from it, and then
hard.
See it like from the outside looking in.
When you care about another person, it's hard, even when things aren't going the way that they should, even when you may feel like they're treating you bad. If you really care about them, sometimes it's hard, to realize that the bad is outweighing the good. But, there are some numbers we'll put in the link box, the description box below. There are some numbers that we will put in the description box below of some people that you can talk to, or that can offer you some help if you need to get out of a bad situation. And we will probably revisit this conversation again when Jonathan is back.
Yeah, because I'd like to get his take on it too.
Yeah. And it was great filling in. It was a good time.
It's always good seeing you, Nikki.
And yeah. Link.
Follow us,
Description box.
subscribe, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Formula Productions. Hit the like button, all that jazz. Tell Jonathan you miss him, if that's how you really feel. If not, just say hello to me. And leave comments, questions, concerns, anything like that. Just hit us up. Thank you for tuning in to The Formula.
Don't ever let them bring you down, cause then you be on a level. Listen, I'm never giving up. Stand your ground, don't be too comfortable or too settled. Listen, I'm never giving up. When you hit rock bottom, it's only one way to go. Listen, I'm never giving up. Everybody got problems, how you handle them, no. Yeah.